Welcome to this week's episode of The Writer's Room. I'm your host, Tessa Durrell, and today I'm joined by Dylan Walker and Emma Lightfoot. So to start off today's show, why don't you guys just tell me a little bit about yourselves?
My name is Dylan Walker. I am actually from Orange County, California, a small town called Dana Point, in between LA and San Diego, right next to Laguna Beach. But came here my freshman year, so 2020. I've been here for 3 years now. Loving every single thing about Stillwater. Love Oklahoma. It's could not be more opposite from where I'm from, but I honestly I love it, and that's what makes it so fun. So I mean, I've kind of really made my way into the Ocali and into this sports media as my major, and so I've really kind of enveloped myself in this whole sports media world, the whole broadcast world specifically. And it's just been really fun getting to know a little bit about everything that goes on within a live TV show and a pre-recorded TV show. So yeah, I mean, there's not too much to say other than the fact that I've had nothing but fun. So
yeah, and then I'm Emma Lightfoot, and I'm from a little bit closer from Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's actually a small town called Brock, which is like 45 minutes west of Dallas. But yeah, I am a sophomore here, majoring in sports media, and I've also just absolutely loved it here. Wouldn't change a thing that I've been able to do. Just so many experiences through the sports media program have really kind of shifted my focus on what specifically I want to go into, after college, because that's the whole point of doing all this stuff like this, is preparing yourself for, the world after college. So I've really, really loved it though, and just all the memories and experiences and everything like that we've gotten to kind of go through so far.
Yeah, so since you've both been here a while, how long have you been working with the Ocali and Ocali TV? And then what kind of responsibilities do you have with the Ocali as the paper or with Ocali TV?
you can go ahead.
Okay. Well, I actually came to OSU originally for the vet school. So yeah, I came here and I was a pre-vet major, animal science. And then I started getting involved with biology and all of those upper level science classes. And I realized that's not something I really wanted to do, not for 8 years at least, like that school was. So I shifted majors to sports media around, I want to say, September of my freshman year, so it didn't take me super long to change my mind. But yeah, it was kind of a random switch from pre-vet to sports media, but I had always grown up around sports and everything like that, so it was always just something that's been a big part of my life. My dad and brothers have always been a huge impact in that area of my life too, so I don't know, kind of that's where the switch came from. But since switching, I've gotten to do I think it was the sports report last year. As a freshman, I did it on Tuesdays, so that was a really cool just experience to get some on-camera action, because coming into it, I'd never had any experience like that at all. It was just so random, from pre-vet to sports media, and just making that rash decision kind of thing. But just seeing how it's all worked out and opportunities like that, and now getting to do the pregame show every Saturday with Dylan has been super, super fun. I've absolutely loved it. And I do the Daily O every Tuesday and Thursday as well. So it's just been really, really cool to see how many experiences there really are, especially if you don't have that kind of background in the media, if that makes sense. So yeah, just lots of opportunities have already come through this, and I've only been here a year and a half now. So yeah, it's been really, really cool.
I mean, I've been working with the Ocali. This is my 3rd year now. So I started my freshman year, and I really kind of got super lucky initially off the bat. I tried out to be an anchor for the Daily O. And obviously, I was a freshman when I was young. I had minimal experience on camera before coming to OSU. And so when I auditioned, it didn't work out, no big deal. But they pulled me aside one day and they were like, hey, we love your personality. We would love for you to do just a quick little entertainment segment for the Daily O every Friday. So I got working on that. It ended up being called The Spill with Dill. So funny, so fun. One of my favorite shows I've actually ever done because it had nothing to do with sports. And it's so different because it lets you kind of put yourself out there in a different way. And so that was my first gig that I ever really did with the Ocali. And then I started working with the pregame show my freshman year as well. I just ran cameras, floor directed, a bunch of behind the scenes kind of stuff. Sophomore year, I bumped my way up to anchoring for the Daily O, which was a big, big accomplishment of mine. And then did the pregame show, got to do the live reporting outside, which was super cool. Got to interview and got to meet a lot of people. And like Emma said, now I'm doing the pregame show, hosting that, and I couldn't be more happier with the experience that I'm getting both on and off camera.
Yeah. So here, just in this last little bit, what is one word or one key thing that OSU has taught you as far as journalism and being on camera goes?
That's a good question.
Mine's experience.
Okay.
I feel like I've gotten so much experience. I'm taking a class right now. It's actually why we're here for live field production. I'm learning everything there's to learn about pre-production, production, and post-production. Everything you do in a studio, all the ins and outs of how to work a studio,
Yeah.
how to be on camera is something that I've really wanted to do my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'm doing that right now. So
Yeah.
I have nothing but experience.
So that's all the time we have here for this segment, but stick with us and we'll be right back after this break.
My name is James Ramidi. Fired Up Stilly is the name of the business, and I'm one of the owners. We all three met, the three owners, working as employees at a similar place like this. What I hope for is for everybody to feel welcome, like family. Not only do I want students to feel welcome to come here and study and use our free Wi-Fi, but also I want adults and families to be able to come in. We've built a connection with a lot of people, and Stillwater's a big community, so we just want to invite everybody to be able to eventually make their way through our doors. Well, definitely the teas, I would say. Most people fall in love with them. They just got a great amount of energy, gets you going through your day, and it just kickstarts you to get, everything you need to done. For myself, it would just have to be, being the owner, owning something that, is able to impact other people's lives, and, the way we can affect our community is something that I really have always wanted to do. We love our clients and our customers that come through every day, and we enjoy getting to know them.
Well, how I got started was my daughter said, "Mama, why don't we rent a booth at the Quarter Horse Show?" And it was very, very good because, when you're giving your jelly away for free, people really do love it. But when you ask them to pay for it, then that's a true test. What makes my product so unique is the Scotch bonnet pepper. And the Scotch bonnet is a Jamaican pepper. And I had lived in Montego Bay, Jamaica for 4 years. So I learned how to handle the pepper and how to cook with it. I always say, you don't do this on your own. I mean, you have so many people that help you along the way. For me and for many of us, that's my name on that jar, and it better be good.
We are back here in the writer's room with Dylan and Emma, and now it's time to talk about some of your guys' O'Colly experience. So why don't you guys just tell me what the prep is like for your weekly pregame show?
Yeah, so I would say I'm not the producer like you are, but I am one of the co-hosts. So I also do a lot of kind of homework, I guess, if that makes sense, just in terms of, researching the game before, like the week that we're doing the pregame show, and then researching the team that we're playing that week. And just kind of getting a lot of stats and like seeing, what kind of play style do they run? Like, do they do a lot of pass plays? Do they do a lot of run plays? How do they run their defense? Everything like that. So just kind of figuring out kind of like I don't necessarily want to say, I guess, details of just every team that OSU has played, and then kind of relating that back to, okay, what are other teams that we've played? And how have they kind of fared against us in terms of like what we offer to the table of like, okay, our defense is looking like this week, so how does that kind of factor into this offense that this team runs? So I would just say it's a lot of like detail work, if that makes sense. Just like figuring out stats and getting key players from games before, and kind of telling people who watch out for that game, kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, homework would be the perfect word to describe it. It's not always fun, is the thing. It's not always fun because it's sometimes can be extremely difficult to get the information that you're looking for. Because, no one puts out, straight up defensive stats. You kind of have to do your own math on that and stuff like that. So that takes time, and that's not my most favorite thing to do. But it's also interesting because everyone talks about it, but it's you want to prepare more than you're ever going to use. I feel like I have all these notes, and I'm like, wait, I want to talk about this, and you want to squeeze it all in. But sometimes it doesn't always, fit in the show, if that makes sense. But homework would definitely be the best way to describe it. And it's fun. It's because it's stuff that you care about. And so, you want to look good on camera too. You want to know what you're talking about. But me and Emma, I think, would have a really good system. And it's something that I've really appreciated so far, is just the fact that we work so well off of each other to begin with. And then we do this thing where we share notes, we go back and forth, and we share it with everyone on our crew as well. So everyone's kind of on the same page when it comes to show day. But I mean, overall, I feel like the production isn't too difficult. It's pretty straightforward because everything's pretty accessible. But as a producer for the show, I'm so lucky to have Landon because he really takes all of the work off my back. There's been 1 week he's been gone the whole season, and everyone already knew what they were doing. So I mean, it's really just fun stuff that you just have to do.
So both of you guys, women in sports. I'm a woman in sports too. So what kind of things have you seen here at OSU? Being a woman in sports, maybe how have they supported you, or what kind of adversity have you faced?
I would say I don't know, coming into it, I've heard a lot of things about like the stigma behind women in sports, you know, like it's kind of the minority group if you're looking at it in that way. But coming to OSU, I really haven't had that experience. I haven't really felt like that. I felt really supported just by the community that's here, and a lot of my closest friends now are sports media as well, and I don't feel like uncomfortable walking into a room of them or anything like that. Like I know that I can walk in and they know what I'm capable of, regardless of my status of a female, you know, like they don't look at me that way. They know that I'm knowledgeable and they know that I'm capable of putting out really good work still, regardless of that, and they recognize that, and it's really kind of respectful in a way, I guess.
I would say the biggest challenge for me being a woman in sports is the fact that a lot of the shows that were like a football show, for example, I never played football and I never will play football because like that's just not something I've ever had the chance to do or never really did. Like I was a soccer player my whole life, and so I can talk on and on and on about soccer, and I'm more credible than I would be as someone who's talking about football, which is difficult for me because like you know what you're talking about, but at the same time you're not a player. And so that's the biggest problem that I feel like I've faced so far. But I mean, like Emma said, I've really never run into any sort of conflict, any sort of jealousy kind of back and forth with any other woman. It's been nothing but support, so I can't be more grateful.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's all the time we have here for this segment, but we will be right back in the writer's room.
Hi, I'm Shauna here at Where the Buffalo Roam in beautiful downtown Pawnee, Oklahoma. We have a lot of beautiful and unique items for sale in the store, but our number one items are Navajo jewelry, Pendleton blankets, and Consuela. It's a great place to shop, a beautiful downtown, so come see us in Pawnee, Oklahoma.
Pecans are staple to Oklahoma. In fact, many of our native pecans come from trees that are older than Oklahoma statehood.
My father's the one that got us started into the pecan picking. I was probably 10 or 12 years old, and we started off with one little mechanical picker that you pulled behind a four-wheeler. Then we'd go home at night and we'd clean them on a TV tray. I guess watching my dad work hard when we were young and people started trusting him and getting more and more groves, we just kept growing.
Being a relatively new and fresh company, we get to sit in the same room with people who have been a part of the Oklahoma economy for decades.
It's opened a lot of doors. It's gave us quite a bit of exposure, and I think people, will take a small company like us a little more serious. We're just going to continue growing as long as our community lets us and our customers keep on buying, and we'll see where it takes us.
We are back here in the writer's room, and now it's time to talk to Emma and Dylan about some of their aspirations and dream jobs. So why don't you guys just tell me, what's your goal after leaving OSU?
Yeah, so honestly, I have a lot of different goals right now. I'm really kind of stuck in between all these different jobs that I really want to do. And obviously, my passion is being on camera. I love being on camera. I love being a host, being an anchor, being even a sideline reporter would be something that I've never done for a show, but I've practiced before, and it's so much fun and it's so cool. But my plans right now, I'm taking a lot of heavy broadcast classes. Like I'm taking live field production. I've taken fundamentals of studio video production. I've taken just a lot of kind of broadcast-based classes. Something that I feel like I really would like to expand my knowledge on is writing. And that's something like I feel that a lot of people, if they are doing on air, they kind of just put that to the side. And I've done that, so I'm a victim as well. But being able to be good at both is something that's so key and something that I've learned that is really beneficial for you in the future. I went to Galvanize this summer with Laura Oakman. I had the opportunity to go with her and to the Chargers facility in Orange County. And something that I learned from her is the fact that it's not about really what you're capable of doing, but it's more about the relationships that you build with people and making those connections, because at the end of the day, this job's so dependent on networking, which is like some people may say like, oh, that's kind of weird, but in reality, like every job, you need to know people, you need to have those connections. And by being able to do stuff like this, it's just so valuable that I've had the opportunity to meet all these amazing people and do things like this that are kind of just different than what I've originally put my mind to. So, I mean, honestly, just anything on camera is my dream, but I don't know what yet. I'm still trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I would honestly kind of go along with what Dylan said. You know, obviously coming in, I didn't really have a set plan of like what I wanted to do after I switched majors, but I think it started out as like seeing Erin Andrews and being like, oh my gosh, I want to do that kind of thing. So sideline broadcasting has always been kind of in the back of my mind. But I've also been able to see kind of different sides of it as I've been more involved, you know, with the writing script side and writing article side and, you know, getting to be behind the scenes like Dylan was talking about. It's just there's so many different aspects that I never even thought of. So I'm also still kind of trying to figure it out, but I've really loved getting some on-camera experience as well. And just being able to have that kind of opportunity here has been really, really cool and has kind of shifted my perspective, I guess, on what I want to do, because it started as, oh, I have to be a sideline broadcaster and that's the only thing that I can do. And then I got here and I kind of realized that's not the only thing there is to do. And there's so many different paths that I could take. And I would be happy with any one of them. So it's kind of just figuring out wherever it takes me.
Yeah. So Dylan, you kind of talked about how a lot of these classes have helped you in all your internships and those kind of endeavors. How have the classes here helped you with O'Colly TV and getting prepared for that aspect of things?
Yeah, so actually one of my favorite professors I've ever had, Max Andrews, who's helping us with the show today, is someone who's really been super beneficial for me in my future and in my time with O'Colly TV. He has critiqued me in the most kind way I could have ever asked for. He's given me so much guidance. I remember on Dad's Day last year, we were out in over by not the McKnight Center, the Sarantine Center. And I was doing my live shot. It was me and my dad on camera. And I just remember him sitting there watching us. And afterwards, I gave my dad a hug and he was like, that was one of the best interviews I've ever seen because you're comfortable. And so it's like people like that really make you feel comfortable and confident. That's helped me the most. And all of my media teachers at OSU have done that. And it's just such a blessing for me because I've learned from them because I've been comfortable.
That's awesome. So that's all the time we have here for this segment, but we will be back for our final segment right after this break.
I'm Kristen Hawkins. I went to Oklahoma State University here in Stillwater in 99 to 2004. I've always felt like Stillwater needed more family-friendly things to do, and we have opened up AR Workshop. We do everything from knitting blankets that can be done in a 3-hour class, and we create doormats and porch signs, the Christmas wreaths with our yarn that we use for the blankets. We also do, we just started a new project for gnomes, and we've done pumpkins during the fall. But our big thing that we do here are interior signs. Our designs are extremely unique to AR Workshop. Customers come in, everything is here for them to do. They create everything. They can be as hands-on as they want. They came in here to relax and have fun, and that they are proud of their project that they've made.
Ace in the Bowl salsa started many, many years ago. I was trying to find a recipe to take to a family gathering, and so I started messing around with different recipes, and I took a little bit from here and a little bit from there, and I came up with a salsa that is truly unique. Ace in the Bowl salsa is an olive oil based salsa with tomatoes, green chilies, green onions, and black olives. There's no sugar added, it's gluten free, low calorie, low carb, low fat, low sodium. So it's a very, very, very good alternative to any snack you may want. As of right now, I'm just looking to be in Oklahoma and having a successful business within the state. If my grandkids could ever take it over when they're old enough, that would be my dream.
We are back here for our final segment of the day with Dylan and Emma, and now it's time to talk Bedlam football. So what does Bedlam and Bedlam football mean to you guys?
You got this one.
Okay. Bedlam football is so crazy to me. It's one of, honestly, the coolest OSU traditions I'd say that there is. And it's interesting to me because everyone, like, I don't know if I can say this on camera, but like you see on social media, it's OU Hate Week, and it's so funny how invested people are in this like week and in this matchup, because I feel like for OU the bigger rivalry is with Texas, and so for us, like, I would say our biggest rivalry is actually Baylor, but the fact that it's the same state kind of matchup is really where the tensions get high. And so I never really knew too much about Bedlam. Being from California, I didn't even know about OSU until my senior year. And so coming my freshman year, I didn't go to Bedlam. It was in Norman. I just went home for Thanksgiving. This past year when it was in Stillwater, I kid you not, it was the craziest, most fun weekend of my life. Yeah. Just the energy, the people, the tension in the air, it was insane. Yeah, you see it on the TV right now. Crazy. Everyone stormed the field after that one. They played Should Have Been a Cowboy. I was like, oh my God, this is freaking awesome. This is the coolest thing ever. So yeah, Bedlam, it's my favorite weekend of the year now. So I can't wait. I'm going this weekend, and I told Emma I'm not wearing orange, but no, I'm changing my mind right now. I'm such a cowboy fan. I'm a cowgirl myself.
Yeah, you are.
So yeah, but no. Coolest thing ever.
Yeah, I'm literally so excited too. I'm also going this weekend, but like growing up, being from Texas, I'd always kind of like heard about it, but I was like, okay, what does Bedlam mean? Like, what is that word? Like, I've never even, like, what is that? And kind of getting to OSU and being able to go to my first Bedlam game last year, it was literally like, I don't even know how to explain it. Just the tension in the air that you could feel, like, just between everyone there, because we knew like OU was really good, but so were we that year, and it was like just seeing how it all played out, and it ended up going in the Cowboys' favor, obviously. And then, you know, storming the field after, just that's like something people always talk about, but it never actually happens. And the fact that it happened against OU after we won Bedlam, like, it was just, it's honestly one of my favorite memories from freshman year last year. And just seeing how, like, also Bedlam brings together, like, so many people at OSU, like, so many people go to those games. And just, like, seeing the community aspect of all of it. And yeah, it is a really big rivalry between, you know, OU and OSU, but at the end of the day, like, we're all from Oklahoma, like, we all go to college in the same state, and it's like, yeah, there's a big rivalry, but it's really cool to see how it brings everyone together, and I think that's really one of my favorite parts of it. But yeah, it was definitely one of my favorite memories from this past year. It was so fun.
Yeah. It's kind of funny because neither of you guys are from Oklahoma, but for me, like, I've grown up with Bedlam, so I always love hearing, you know, out of state what they think of Bedlam, because I'm so used to it, and it's crazy every year. Now, you guys both do the pregame show. So do you think that changes how you watch the football games or how you're going to be watching Bedlam? Do you think you're going to be more invested in it as far as like statistics go and whatnot? Just tell me kind of what that's like for you.
I think it definitely impacts how we watch the game. I mean, literally, like, me and Dylan will text each other like in the middle of the game, and we're just like, well, our prediction was right, or our prediction was wrong, or like, oh my gosh, did that just happen? Like, that's gonna mess up the stats, you know, stuff like that. Like, we just, I feel like
our text conversation during the 2 weekends in Kansas,
it was so bad.
Just, they like
can't show them.
We need to delete the messages. Like, it was, are you?
It was just
kidding
bad.
me right now?
But I just think it's funny just to see how my perspective watching that kind of stuff has shifted just from doing the pregame show and, like, you know, doing all the analysis side of it, and then like seeing how that actually plays into real life, because like I never would have done that before doing the pregame show, but now I'm like, okay, I definitely watch it differently now, just seeing how I even talk about it.
Yeah.
So it's been really funny.
I know, I agree. Before I was just a fan. Like I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I love this. The games are so fun.
So
You get to dress
fun.
cute. You get to hang out with your friends.
Mhm.
Maybe go to the tailgate. Nope. Now I'm all in. We come to the pregame show, we
Yep.
do it, and then we're in the game. And I'm like Emma said, we're texting each other. We're like, our biggest thing that we text about is either if our score predictions are right or if it's the big plays. The
Yeah.
big plays are our number one. That's what bit us in the butt in the 2 weeks in Kansas.
Yep.
And now here we are being Iowa State. So hopefully that carries on. But yeah, no, it's so interesting how much your mind shifts in the matter of like a week or
Yeah.
whatever
Mhm.
because of what you're doing on that Saturday.
For sure.
Yeah, so you just said you guys have score predictions. So what are your score predictions? What do you think is going to happen this weekend?
I've said it before, just said it. I'm a Cowgirl. I'm a loyal and true Cowboys fan. I'm saying OSU pulls off the win. 35 to 29. We see it on the screen right now. Go Pokes, baby.
Go
I'm all
Pokes.
in.
And I'm also all in. Go Pokes forever. I'm 38-31. I don't know. I can see OSU kind of taking the momentum they have from Iowa State and carrying it over to a really big rivalry game with OU.
Yeah, and there's me, 35-21. I'm always
Yeah.
going to pick OSU. I always
Always.
have. And this may be our first week that we've all picked OSU in a minute, I think.
Oh,
on
I
the
remember
writers'
last
room.
week when I was running cameras, both the guys picked
Oh, yeah.
Iowa State. I was like, I
It
don't
hurts
know
my
if they should do
feelings. It hurts my feelings
It
every
makes me
time.
sad.
Yeah.
So what is one key takeaway you think OSU should carry over in Norman this weekend to help see success against the Sooners?
I mean, I think just being consistent, especially with having Sanders back most likely for this next game against OU. Like we put him in at the end of the game just to kind of like carry things out kind of thing. Like Gundy had it kind of rolling, but then we're like, okay, this isn't working. So threw Sanders in there and he kind of just took the game for OSU. And I think the fact that like he's the biggest factor for us against OU, I think. And the fact that he's going to have this week of rest going into it, I think is going to help a lot. For sure. So just being consistent with our play and not letting it turn into a game of two halves like we have been against Kansas.
Yeah.
So
Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. It's been awesome to have you guys. Make sure to watch more of Dylan and Emma's work on Ocali TV. And that's all the time we have here today. But thanks for joining us on the Writers' Room.
My name's Kayla. I've been here since the beginning, so 4 years. Scratch is more focused on farm and mostly made in Oklahoma products, keeping it local. Sustainability is our biggest thing. That's one of the reasons why this place opened.
I've been the chef here at Scratch for 2.5 years. Started here as a line cook. Our food and drinks are a bit separate entities almost inside the restaurant. So the food is now up to 85% of the products we bring in are raised or grown locally. It's all based off of things that I grew up eating in southern Oklahoma, the things my grandparents ate.
Fresh food, clean food, organic food, sustainability, that's all of our thing. From front of house to back of house, we're able to maintain both with freshness. But made in Oklahoma means we get it straight from the farms that are 20, 30 minutes, another little county away. We get it straight from them.
The hopes are when folks drink our water is that they'll drink it for a few days and find out the difference. They'll start feeling better because there's been no chemical in our water. There's a list of good things that we have. We don't have any bad things in it. I see the future of Divine Water as being worldwide, which will bring outside dollars into the state. It means a lot to me because I started it, I guess, and our family started it.